Good morning. Since some of you missed the opening salvo, here we go again. Ringing in Lent with Ash Wednesday yesterday, ringing in our pilgrimage in faith with Abraham, our father in faith. Come on, little birdie, I want to get you. There you are. I'm not good at focusing the camera, people. Forgive me. Here we are at Magdala in Galilee, at the foot of Mount Arbel, which hides Wadi Hammam from our view. I'm just very, very happy and grateful for all of you who are sharing so much. Who are carrying the message in the spirit of Abraham. Far and wide, through the ether, sharing, near and far. I'm staying close by today. I kind of think it won't rain, but I don't want to get the camera out in the rain. So I think we'll just walk briskly around here to get the blood circulating and to see the sunrise that won't happen. It's already risen, obviously. Time-wise, it's clearly up. But nevertheless, it's really beautiful. You know, the black stone, basalt stone, takes on a different hue with the rain when it's damp and wet. It brings out the colors in a different way. We had some visitors here yesterday. Well, I can't really comment too much on it. You can see a little bit here. All of the bays have, the sets of bays have different colors. So it looks like a village and not like a big guest house, a big hotel. So it was a thrill this morning to, just before I came out, I just checked the YouTube numbers, and we just didn't expect this type of result, but it looks like over 13,000 people have seen Kathleen's presentation yesterday at the, all the rain we got, look at that, at Tel Dan, walking in the steps of Abraham with that extraordinary gait from the time of Abraham in the Canaanite city of Dan. You know, it's really wonderful. And today we still have the same capacity and hopefully the same desire for God. And we can develop that. God's grace will be bountiful in our lives and we will develop that. If you still haven't seen Kathleen's presentation, I really recommend it. You can find it both on our Facebook, Experience Magdala Facebook page. And actually, I also shared this post from my Facebook page to the Magdala Facebook page. And there you can see the Tel Dan visit. And yesterday evening, let me just tell you a little bit of news because you're kind of insiders. You're really part of the Magdala family here. Matt Maher, he was on a Zoom interview last evening with Kathleen and myself. And we know for a while because he sang here in Magdala 4 years ago. And he's dying to come back. And he's the composer and singer of the music, of some of the music for this pilgrimage. Also Martin Valverde from, I think he's from Colombia or from South America, but he's resident in Mexico, He's living in Mexico for decades, and he's an extraordinary composer and singer, and of especially Christian music, and very well liked across the different Christian communities in Mexico. And there's also an interview with him in Spanish with Father Juan, but we're going to get an English version for you as well, God willing. And you will see some amazing artists have participated, have come on the team to make this pilgrimage a very special experience for many, many people. Look at how the reeds are getting thinned out as they can't really grow because they're flooded for 2 years now. So these are the last survivors. And then as the storm winds blow and the heavy waves come, it's taking out all this portion of reeds here. We're actually happy to have the water more accessible at Magdala, because before the growth was out to the edge over there, all the way across, and you couldn't see water here. Oh, look at this little bird here swimming away, looking to fish this morning. I'm looking for a bird here that's flying around and I can't get to. Somebody has to train me how to pick up these birds on with the lens. Maybe I need to tighten it in a little bit more. Where are we, little bird? Oh, there we are. I was just above her a little bit. So I'm so happy to see you all here coming in, joining this morning. And obviously we have very big topics in the scriptures today that we'll be dealing with now and also at Mass later this afternoon, God willing. And it's also very interesting to see how many people are even connecting to the Mass. Yesterday it was like skyrocketing up for the relative proportion. Sometimes it's 400, 500, you know, but it was over 4,000 so far have seen the Mass here, and this is very encouraging. What's encouraging is that people are being touched by the grace that God gives here in the Holy Land. And we're all walking in the faith, and we need that help. You know, we don't believe alone. Many times our faith is tested in solitude, but we don't believe alone. We believe in company with others who give us witness, who give us testimony, who inspire us, who help to carry us along. We're community people, even the hermits. And the hermits are only allowed in the great tradition of authentic hermitage when they're mature enough for that style of life and they're supported by their local abbot or monastery. And then they can bear the incredible combat with evil, because hermits don't go away to escape society. Hermits are people who enter an extraordinary one-on-one combat with evil. And it's really not fair to say one-on-one, because it's actually God's strength that's supporting them. So it's the hermit and God, like in all of our lives. We're not alone when we're dealing with evil. We're never alone. And the angels are with us, and we're in the communion of saints, all the heavenly hosts, and so we're not alone, but we're also accompanied by people with us who are praying for us. It's really amazing the power of prayer, and that's why it's so good to be praying for each other. And I love the sunrise stroll and chat, because somebody puts up a little petition for prayers, and so many people are supportive and confirm and reaffirm and say, I will be praying for you, and to not be alone. There's a great principle, just pure wisdom of human experience, and it says, joy shared is joy multiplied, and sorrow and suffering shared is divided. It's broken up. And that's why we need to get together for celebrating a wedding, that great joyous occasion, or for the celebration of a new baby. You know, I immediately come and celebrate, share the joy of the mother and the father, share the joy of the family. And then when somebody passes away and it's a moment of sadness and suffering, an accident has happened, a tragedy, then we come together as well to be a support for those who have the greater pain, the greater suffering, the greater loss. And that's so powerful. You know, if you're on the road stranded with a flat tire and a couple of people stop, it's just so encouraging, it's so uplifting. And in our walk of faith, it's like that. We need the others. We're walking with the others. We're walking in a community. And that's the nature of pilgrimage as well. This doesn't take away from the inner personal battle that everybody has. And maybe we can look right now at the readings. And here we have our first reading with Moses instructing the people and saying to them, I put two choices before you, life and prosperity, or death and doom. You know, so we're on this path, and it can branch off to the right or the left, and we're responsible. One of the biggest temptations we have as human beings is to excuse ourselves and blame others. And obviously, you know, we can look back at Adam and Eve and say, you guys really messed up, you know. But we also have responsibility, significant responsibility. And we don't like that, because we'd prefer it to be handed on a platter and have it easy and not have to work, not have to study, not have to clean the house. If the glass broke, not have to go and get the brush and the broom and the pan and pick it up, you know. And the coffee got spilled and I have to clean it up. And it was my fault because I left it in the wrong place, and it slipped. You know, the idea of responsibility. And we're responsible when we're living together to each other. And society is very harsh and cruel in demanding responsibility. And sometimes very unjust, because it lets other people off the hook in an unfair way because of certain interests and selfishness. Oh, there's a coyote. Oh, soldiers going after him. Wow. Wow. That's the closest I got to it. It's the first time I see it's a jackal. See soldier hunting a jackal. Oh, wow, she's still after him. I wonder if we could catch up over there, because they can't go out. Yeah, they're gone down by the little water flow. Wow, they're way over there now. Soldier's having fun. She has a jackal on the run. But where are they going to go now? They're probably going to go out to the woods down below. The jackal will be out of the territory and Soldier will have reclaimed her dominance. That's interesting. I imagine. I was going to take you up. Let's go back up to the archaeology, because sunrise isn't coming and it's very unlikely that you'll find Soldier again. I'm sure the jackal will just take off where we go walking out towards the campsite. There's a lot of brush there, bush. It's interesting, we're walking right now on this little street here destined to carry all the honouring plaques for the donors. But right below it, we have already done the soundings and we know the layout of the streets that are down below. And that's fascinating. You know, we're walking over the dwellings and the streets of people who lived in Magdala 2,000 years ago. And that's also an expression of walking together with others. We're a big community. We're a big community. Now, let's go back to the reading here. I just need a second here to straighten out the reading on my phone. Just one moment. Please. There we are. So we're in Deuteronomy 30. And this presentation by Moses of the challenge of walking the path of life. And when Jesus goes alone into the desert, prompted by the Spirit, and we'll be reaching that soon on Sunday, then he's in this incredible combat, the combat of life and death. And in our case, it was for humanity, for he did it for us. Jesus didn't need to do that. And so again, he did it for us, so he's with us. We are not alone. God is with us, Emmanuel. Look at all the flooding from the rain. Today I have set before you life and prosperity, death and doom. If you obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I enjoin on you today, loving him and walking in his ways and keeping his commandments, statutes, and decrees, you will live and grow numerous. And the Lord your God will bless you in the land you are entering to occupy. Imagine the amount of times these texts were taught here in this synagogue. And the community would read those readings. One theory is that this Magdala stone was used as a place for holding the scroll. And you can imagine a community gathered here, growing together in the faith. Oh, there you're back again. Thank you. We had a little blank there. I'm not sure what happened. I apologize. I was looking at the text instead of checking the camera, but I hope you're all there. Everything is fine. A number of people got cut off apparently. Hopefully they'll be back, or that they were already blessed. Welcome back, everybody. Well, I'm saying welcome back to you, and you're saying I am back. That's great. So, I know the phone did a rotation, so maybe that was part of the problem. And that was probably my fault then. I spilt the coffee. I call heaven and earth today to witness. You know, it's interesting, we're living in a community, we're not living in a hidden way. And yet the battle can become very personal inside our hearts, you know. And there can be an experience of being alone. Soldier's checking out her region, her territory. After that chase of the coyote, of the jackal. Imagine in these shops here all the transactions that happened. Let me go up higher so you can see better. And that the experience of honesty and the temptation of cheating, you know, in all transactions. And the opportunity to follow the way of light and life. To choose life. Not to choose an immediate gain. There's more water, more flooding. On there on the left of the center, and more over here. See all the water. Not to choose the immediate little advantage to the detriment of truth and honesty and goodness. Blessed are they who hope in the Lord. You know, we have this great capacity for God, the desire for God. And we're made for that. No matter how rusted the piece of art. Maybe I need to walk more slowly. And the coin can be all faded. You see this sieve, when the archaeology is being done, the buckets of clay are put through this, and they hope to find little objects and coins as they sieve through it. And then you find a coin, but you can't read it because it's all dirtied. And you don't see the image that's on the coin, the writing. And so it can happen with us. We have to be refreshed. Blessed are those who hope in the Lord. Imagine this town was 2,000 years ago, but Tel Dan, where Kathleen had you yesterday, was 4,000 years ago. So this town was halfway between the town of Magla, and the time chart was halfway between us and Tel Dan. And yet the same community of people inspired by the faith of Abraham, walking in the path along with Abraham, our father in faith. I think some of you who know the site want to see a mikvah, a ritual purification bath, so let's do that for a second and not deprive your desire. You know, we have desires for so many things, and we want our desires fulfilled. And sometimes our desires are frustrated. What's going on? There we were back again. There was a small interruption again. See, we're pumping the water out. Some days I showed you that. So here are the steps of the mikvah. They're a little bit mossy, a little bit of algae. But you can see the steps. 2,000-year-old mikvah, according to Ronnie Reich, the best built mikvah ever excavated here, with the water supply, the conservation, the way it was built. And here's a room beside the mikvah that's mosaic tiled floor, similar to the patterns in the synagogue, but slightly different. And people, did these things. This was a religious community, a community of faith, walking together. Humanity is pilgriming through history, and we're part of that pilgrimage in faith. And there's another mikveh over here. Let's see if I can show you. I'm learning to move a little slower with this so it doesn't cut out again. The waters are a little murky here because of the rain, but still you can recognize the steps, some of them. But in each of them there are 7 steps. And we have 2 more over on the other side here. I'm going to jump over here. This one needs a little bit of work. It's also absolutely filled up. The rain also has contributed. But the original source of water is directly from underneath, like I was showing you back here. Soter is checking out the ritual baths as well. So this is where the water comes from, Mount Arbel. And there's an interesting line in the Psalm. Blessed the person who follows not the counsel of the wicked. Obviously, that's a poor thing to do. But some people can bring people into a scheme of cheating. Big bird. And we can sit in the council of the sneering, of the critical, of the impatient, of the violent. You know, how many kids get involved with a group of people who are violent, and they change their whole manner and way of living, and the parents don't know what happened. Look at all that water coming out of our ritual baths. It's an expensive operation, but we have to do it to protect the archaeology. Look at all the pipes here, you can see them. 3 different pipes going here, then another one over here that's not active at the very moment. All this flooding here. Blessed the man who follows not the counsel of the wicked, nor walks in the way of sinners, nor sits in the company of the insolent, but delights in the law of the Lord. And obviously, parents want their kids to have good company. They're very concerned about bad company. And we can see that culture, creating a culture of wanting to look for good company and good influences. And then there we can see why Jesus was so criticized, because he went with Matthew, Levi, and he was dining with the tax collectors and the sinners. So here you could see the scriptural basis that was used to accuse him and question his behavior. But there's two ways to be among the sinners. One is to be listening to their counsel and joining them in speaking badly about others, in doing all kinds of things that are wrong, and harboring rancor and hatreds, or looking to raise them up, to bring them home, to heal wounds. And there's a very different way to be among the sinners. To be labeled among the sinners, to even sometimes our name can be blackened. And one can bear it patiently with love for salvation for others. What a way to go. And that's exactly what the gospel story is about. That Jesus is telling the disciples, and this is kind of at the very beginning of Lent. It's very important because this is what Lent is all about, and eventually what our pilgrimage is all about. A pilgrimage in faith, a faith towards salvation, to the promised land of freedom from all of our wrong attachments, of our suffering. And Jesus is going to do that through Calvary. And so we go from the ashes to the glory of Easter. And the path of suffering is part of the path. So people, we allow the scriptures to touch us, to touch our minds, our hearts, as we walk through this different type of morning here in Galilee. In the middle of a storm. There's more rain coming tomorrow, this evening actually, the current predictions. In fact, it's raining right now down in Jordan. I can see it here. Let me just give you that last shot, and then we'll say goodbye and switch over to Instagram. Thank you again for all the sharing. I just was totally taken by surprise this morning to see that the English pilgrimage presentation on YouTube by Kathleen yesterday had reached 13,000 this morning, and the liturgy, the Mass, had, when we were praying together, had reached over 4,000, and that's all because of you guys helping to share and to spread the word. So you can use all kinds of tools, what you have, Facebook, comments on YouTube. You can use Twitter, Instagram, all the different ones to promote this so that other people can have the joy and the inspiration that you're experiencing. Just let me show you down in Jordan, and I'm pretty sure that's raining there. You can see right behind that lovely bird, that crane. We have Tiberias immediately here in the foreground, and the Golan over here. But in the middle of the screen at the back, there's another row of hills, and that's actually the country of Jordan. And you see that little white clouds coming up there in the valley, and that's a very deep valley with wonderful hot baths, about a 20 minutes drive over there, beyond that area, up the valley between Syria and Jordan. So there we're looking at at Jordan, and it's raining there. So people, it was wonderful being with you this morning and enjoying this time here in this special nature. See you later, alligators, and maybe see some of you now on Instagram.